So I'm just going to be talking through the steps that I used to make this photo. So first I've just chosen the background that I want, which I've just found on DeviantArt, and it's just a nice colourful cloud sunset background. And then I'm going to be using this picture of a woman, and I'm just going to cut her hair out by using the pen tool. I'm then going to make a selection, and then I'm going to add a mask layer by clicking on the plus sign and then clicking mask layer, and then clicking deselect by holding my finger on the screen and letting go. Then I'm going to copy that picture into this background. And using the move tool, I'm going to move the woman around until she's positioned where I want it in the photo. Then I'm going to drag that duplicate layer that I made before as a child layer of the woman. And then this is just a PNG picture of some trees, and I'm just going to darken them down so they look more like silhouettes. And then I'm going to drag them onto the woman as well. And then position the trees where you want them, so you want the branches to be sticking out the most. But you still want to make sure that you can get the silhouette of the woman in there too. And I'm going to lower the exposure of the trees just a bit more as well. Then I'm going to add a pixel layer. I'm going to change my brush so it's a cloud brush, which you can download from DeviantArt. I'm changing the rotation and the hardness and shape to just random, so it won't be all one similar shape. So I've just put a mask layer on the woman, and now with the paintbrush and the colour on black, it's going to hide the woman and so also the trees, so that it blends more, so it looks like the woman is actually coming out of the clouds rather than the trees just being really bold. If you've made a mistake, you can put the colour on white and that will undo what you've covered up with black. I then just want to add some birds as well, so this is just another PNG file that I downloaded from DeviantArt. Then we're going to just add another mask layer onto the woman. And again, with my brush on a cloud brush, I'm just going to blend out the woman a little bit more. And then just adding another pixel layer, and then using just a normal brush with the hardness all the way down, I'm going to start creating a shadow. So I'm just going to paint in black where I think there would be a shadow if the light is behind the woman, and then lower the opacity so it's not too bold. And then you can use the blend mode soft light to make it look a little bit more realistic. Just going to add a little bit more shadow just to the centre, closer to her face. I'm just changing the blend mode to screen so that the light looks a lot more natural. And I'm just going to add in some more light using a bigger brush. I'm going to put that on soft light just so it kind of overlays on the picture and adds more warmth to it. I'm making it just a little bit brighter at this point of the face as well, because I want it to look like the sun's going down behind her. And now I'm just changing the colours of the picture, so I'm using the curves adjustment, and I've got the channels on red. So I'm lifting the reds up in the highlights and bringing them down in the shadows. And I'm moving along to green and bringing the greens up in the shadows. And then the greens down in the highlights. And then again with the blues, and I just do this until I'm satisfied with the colours. Now just adding an exposure adjustment, and I'm just going to bring it up a little bit to brighten up the image. And then go on the filter studio and then click on blurs. I'm going to add a depth of field blur. So I've made that a live layer, and now I just need to drag it to the top, because if I'd have left it, it would only affect the exposure adjustment, and I want it to affect the whole picture. So in the very center is where I want it to be its sharpest, so I'm going to increase the clarity and the vibrance. And then the radius is how much of a blur you're going to want. So all the attention is going to be in the centre of the circle, and on the outsides of the circle it's going to be blurred. And I added a pixel layer. I'm going to use the paintbrush tool, and I'm just going to add a little bit more shadow into the picture. So I'm just going to put this basically anywhere that's opposite from where the light is. Just add a bit more shadow and a bit more depth into it. And then lower the opacity so it's not as harsh. I'm just going to keep the blend mode on normal as well for this one.